Hello everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, happy 2024. We are at the end of the year, so I thought I would do a series of videos on what have been my most used plugins in 2023. These are gonna be fun and quick video lists, and of course I wanna know what have been your most used plugins in 2023. Write it in the comments down below. In this one, my favorite mastering limiters. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to MixbusTv. Hope you guys are having a great day. Before we start, all the links to the plugins that we're gonna see in this video are gonna be in the info box down below, along with other cool links you should definitely check out. If you haven't already, go to the new website MixbusTv.com. In there you can find all the mix and mastering courses available on many different genres, start to finish. And right now until January 6th, you can use this coupon MixBus50 to get 50% off any of the mix and mastering courses. On the website you can book all the other courses as well, mix, mastering, private lesson, mix consultation, and a lot more. And if you want to access all the exclusive videos here on YouTube, click the join button down here, become a MixbusTv member. You also get mix consultations. And if the videos are helping you, you want to support the channel, consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Let's get to the video. All right, we start with an amazing limiter that it seems like nobody's talking about, and I should probably keep it that way, but it doesn't matter. Invisible Limiter G3. This thing can be extremely loud and still preserve dynamic and punch and transients. This new version has a great soft limiter built in with a lot of great functions for both the soft limiter. We have the curve section with the range, the ratio, the knee, which is very customizable. I really like the range, so I can, regardless the threshold and how hard I hit it, I can limit the range of how much I'm clipping. This, when you go for the last half a dB of loudness, it can be really useful because you will see in use, you will be able to tailor how much you are easing off the back of the limiter with the clipper, and it's pretty cool. This thing is absolutely badass, and it also has plenty of oversampling. The next is OldBu Gold. To be honest, this one I haven't been using it nowhere near as much as years ago, but for some tracks it's still kind of the ticket. There's one specific trick using the soft knee that I revealed in a couple of mixing or mastering courses. There's the enhanced curve that has got that sound. This limiter, especially for rock and metal, it can still be used in the chain, even if not as the only limiter. It has that sound, and I feel it's still up to date for certain genres. You can also use it on single tracks or groups with the soft knee trick that I showed in other videos and courses, and just the enhanced slider if you want, because it's got that mid-range focused saturation and enhancement that is pretty unique still. Ozone Maximizer is one of my most used limiters. I never use one limiter in my mastering chain. There's always a combination of clipping my converter, a couple of clippers, a couple of limiters, or any combination of this. And this one is definitely one that is, I want to say, 80% somewhere in the chain. It can be transparent, it can be loud, it can be overboard, it can pretty much do it all. When in IRC4 modern mode, if you engage the transient emphasis, is probably one of the best transient enhancement at the limiting stage, because it can really bring up the transient. Although I would not suggest you to use it as a default because it does increase distortion, but on some genres you can mask it pretty well and get away with it and actually push it really freaking hard. On some other genres it's pretty destructive and it just doesn't go well with the material. Soft clip is useful, although it's really soft, as in it really softened the material, so I wouldn't use it for anything that has to be extremely punchy. Again, hip-hop, trap, rock, metal, stuff like that. Also, I love the Dette section. It's one of the most comprehensive Dette section if you want to shape your Dette. Next is one of my favorite plugins ever, and we've seen this one as well for the best clippers, for my favorite most used clippers. But the peak limiter of the TokyoLab Limiter number 6 is one of the best. One of the few multiband limiters that I like. There's only another one that I use. I'm not a fan in general of multiband limiters, but this is absolutely killer, especially if you stay within 1.5 dB, especially on sparse material with a lot of low end, again, trap, hip hop, even pop. I keep it in multiband mode, and The focus knob is also the key because it focuses either on the mid-range or the extreme of the band. So depending again on the material, this is really one of the best out there. I love everything in this plugin, like even the HF limiter is amazing. But even though there's a free version, I highly recommend you to get the Gentleman Edition because it's cheap as hell. You got a lot more and you support one of the best independent small companies out there that make absolutely amazing plugins. Because I mentioned it, I won't let you hang in. I'm gonna just tell you right away, my other multiband limiter that I like is MacDSP ML8000. This thing is mental, and it's got several modes: clean, soft, smart, dynamic, loud, crush. You will find the right mode for your track no matter what the material is. You have controls for the master, you have control for the multiband. You can click here and take a snapshot of your material. I have a dedicated video of this plugin and how to use it, but it automatically sets the bands for you in that moment. So in a mastering context, you probably want to take the snap at the highest peak where everything is playing, the loudest moment. And that is a great starting point to begin with. It's actually an extremely deep plugin that is extremely simple to use, and in my opinion, arguably the best real multiband limiter there is out there. You also have different modes here for the multiband, and you also have 2 Vari automatic releases, which are really great. I don't use multiband limiters a lot, either in mixing or mastering, but sometimes that's what you need. I usually never go over like 1 dB, 1 dB and a half with these. But when I need a multiband limiter with multiple bands like this is what you want. It's definitely my favorite. Next one is kind of the opposite because it's arguably one of the most simple limiters that you can possibly find, but is also one of the most badass. Softube Vice MM1 Mastering Maximizer. So this thing is different than all the other limiters with the threshold, the ceiling, sometimes attack and release, which is not the attack of limiters is not the actual attack. Like a lot of people mistakes the attack control on the FabFilter Pro L2 for the actual attack, like it was a compressor. A limiter always has a 0 attack. That attack controls something else. But anyway, on this one you have transparent, loud, punch, wide, and the Esser mode. And these are 5 styles and you just decide the amount of it. I usually don't use this one as my last limiter, but is usually maybe the first or the first after the clippers, because of the processing is actually a character that you want to give to the track more than focusing on clean volume, which I would use other plugins. But in order of preference, I like punch, loud, and transparent. These are my most used styles. Sonible Smart Limit, now that you can turn the true peak on and off, is definitely one of my most used, one of my most loved limiters. This is not the loudest. It's not the limiter that you use when you don't really care, or better, you can mask the distortion and you can mask the crunchiness depending on the genre, and you just go for full-blown as loud as I can. But is the most transparent, is the most distortion-free, and it might not be the punchiest, just because some others, by adding that distortion on some genres, they actually can make the track punchier and more aggressive, but in that case it's because you want a sound. This one can really be the most transparent depending on the settings, depending on the gain reduction. Again, this is not a limiter that you would push over, I want to say 2.5 dB, but given the same gain reduction, this will always be the more transparent. And it's just overall an absolutely amazing limiter. Next one is a new entry. I got it not long ago and I started using it and I started loving it. It's the SSL X Limit. This is straightforward. You only have gain, threshold, ceiling, an auto release, which I really like, release, look ahead, channel link, and gain match. Very simple, streamlined, clear GUI, and we have different modes: transparent, glue, punch, and auto. This is another one that started making my chain more and more often. It's really cool. And last but not least, this is much more than just a limiter, but it does have a limiter in it, and it's a Music Hack Master Plan. This plugin is just really well done. It really sounds good overall as a plugin on even groups, not just to bus. But the built-in limiter is really great. I love pretty much everything about this plugin, and actually we have a dedicated video on it on the channel, so if you're not familiar with it, definitely check it out. And this is it for this video, another short and sweet list. I hope you guys like the video, but I want to know what are your favorite mastering limiters in the comments down below. If you like the video, please don't forget to leave a like. Go and check out the new website, MixbusTv.com, if you haven't already. You have time until January 6th to use the code MixBus50 to get 50% off any mix and mastering course available on the website. If you want to access the exclusive videos here on YouTube, click the join button down here, become a MixbusTv member. Also get mix consultations with it. And if the videos are helping you, consider using the super thanks or grab some merch. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.